Our planet is facing some unexperienced challenges every day, and it is our collective responsibility to address them for a sustainable future. Together, let us ignite the spark of the change and pave the way for the greener and healthier future. Now, before the commencement of the event, I would like to call upon the stage Dr. Shehzad Ahmed from SCLS to begin with a soul-stirring recitation from the Holy Quran.
السلام عليكم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وهو الذي أنزل من السماء ماء فأخرجنا به نبات كل شيء فأخرجنا منه حضرا نخرج منه حبا متراكبا ومن النخل من طلعها قنوان دانية وجنات منه عناب والزيتون والرمان متشابها وغير متشابه انظر إلى ثمره إذا أثمر وينعه إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يؤمنون. In the meanings of that ayah, Surah Anam 99 ayah, and it is He who sends down the rains from the sky, and we produce thereby the growth of all things. We produce from it greenery, from which we produce grains arranged in the layers, and from the palm trees of its emerging fruits from clusters hanging low, and we produce gardens and grapevines and olives and pomegranates, similar yet varied. Look at each of it, its fruit, when it yields at its ripening. Indeed, in that there are signs for the people who believe. In the explanation of this ayah, I would like to continue one hadith of Muslim Sharif, which is saying that the world is very sweet and beautiful and green, and verily Allah is going to install you as His steward in that, as in it is in order to see how to act and how you will manage the whole world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shehzad, for guiding us through this citations. The Center for Environment and Sustainable Development is a unit of Jamia Hamdard, which is striving to work on the issues involving climate change and the impact on global food and nutritional security. The center, being an interdisciplinary in nature, utilizes the expertise and technologies from various disciplines of basic sciences for the sustainability of the environment and agriculture to meet the sustainable development goals, as is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi. CSD organizes such events to enlighten the young minds, to raise awareness about the pressing environmental issues such as climate change, deforestation, pollution, and loss of biodiversity. By increasing the awareness, we can foster a sense of responsibility and encourage the positive action. In essence, the World Environment Day is a reminder that we all have a crucial role to play in safeguarding our planet. It calls for collective action, promoting sustainable practices and working towards a harmonious coexistence with the nature. So on behalf of CESD, I take privilege to bid a very warm welcome to our Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Speaker of Excellence, Director CESD, all the delegates, professors, faculty members, the scholars, and the dear students who took out their valuable time today and joined us here to be part of this event. We all are honored to have you all here. Now, moving ahead towards the program, I am honored to call upon the stage Professor MZ Abdeen, the esteemed director of CESD, for the welcome address.
Good morning to all of you. Rather, it is good afternoon. So actually, the function is a little delayed because of the chief guest. He arrived a little late. But anyway, we are going to organize this function today, though it was basically on 5th June. Honorable Chief Guest Sir, Vijay Dasmani ji, today's speaker, Monica Gulati ji, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, who spared his time to be with us for this function, our faculty members and dear students, we welcome you all to this event. Actually, Dr. Monica Safi has already told about the significance of this day, and then how we have to protect our environment. We have already witnessed the damage that has been done to the environment. We witnessed in recent days the change in the climate. You are already experiencing harsh climate, very rapid changes in the climatic conditions, floods, high temperatures, temperature variations, extremes of temperature variations, the change in the rainfall pattern. So all these actually indicate that there is a change in the environment, and that change has not occurred in a few days, but it has taken many years because of the anthropogenic activity, human activities. We need, we expanded our needs. We did deforestation, and then for generation of power, we used fossil fuels, and then we overexploited even for food, natural resources. Okay, so this is all has led to the change in the climate. Now, I will not take much time because actually our esteemed guests are there. Our Vice Chancellor is there, so they will enlighten us with their views. So with these words, again, I am welcoming you all to this event. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Now is the time for the felicitation of our distinguished guests who have graced us with their presence. I request Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, and Director CESD to please welcome our chief guest, Mr. Vijay Dasmana, whose unwavering commitment to the environmental causes and invaluable contributions in the field of environmental conservation serve as an inspiration to all of us. Now again, I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, and Director CESD to please welcome our Speaker of Excellence, Ms. Monica Khanna Gulati, who is constantly working in gathering the practical solutions to inspire and motivate us towards a greener and more sustainable future. Now I request Director CESD to please present a planter to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. We express our deepest gratitude for your unwavering commitment to environmental stewardship, sir. I now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to please present the planter to Professor M.Z. Abdeen, Director CESD, as a token of appreciation for his invaluable contributions in taking the center to the new heights. Now, I am profoundly delighted to introduce our Speaker of Excellence today, Ms. Monica Khanna Gulati, a communication designer, educator, and waste management strategist. She is the founder of Sky Blue Design and co-founder of India Waste Matters. Ms. Gulati is a soil lover at heart and believes that many of India's waste problems like landfills, clogged water bodies, degraded soil can be rectified by composting the organic waste and not letting it go to waste. She started conducting sessions in composting and has been enabling change in waste management through citizen action and awareness community. NCR Waste Matters as a platform to bring best practices, knowledge, vendors, and citizens together on a common platform. She has inspired and helped many people and communities across boundaries to move towards a sustainable lifestyle and ecosystem. Now, I invite you to delve into a world of knowledge and insight with our esteemed Speaker of Excellence, Ms. Monica Khanna. Welcome you.
First of all, I would really like to thank Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mr. Afzal Anam, for having me here. And thank you so much, Professor Abdeen. Thank you, Vijay, for thinking of me. There are many, many people who are working in waste, and I have the treasured spot of meeting all of you today. And all the young people present here today, it's a delight to be here and to see your very, very anxious faces. It's been a long morning for you. You've had very, very hectic schedules. So I will not, without wasting any more time, I will ask you to shut your eyes. Yes. Please just shut your eyes and think about the morning. Shut your eyes, please. I don't want you looking at me. Just shut your eyes. Think about that rushed morning that you have had and racing through your morning schedule, trying to get ready, putting your whole day together, looking after all the various needs that you have, and finally coming to the university, rushed, 10,000 things to do, and many, many jobs to be done. Now, while you are doing all this, somewhere we lose our centeredness. Now I want to take your attention to the beautiful things in life. Have you been to a walk in the forest? A calm walk in the forest where there is no rush, you're not racing, you don't have those 20,000 things to do. Can you imagine you're sitting there and you're looking and thinking about open fields, green fields, which are maybe growing food or just trees or forests. There are butterflies, there are bees, there are birds in the sky. Everything is working in harmony with each other. And in that harmony, there is a certain peace, which sometimes we lose and we forget in the day-to-day lives that we have. And now I would ask you to open your eyes and look at, can you help me with the slide, please? I think yeah, the first slide. Yeah, this is forward. And the reality is very different. What we see around us are mountains of garbage. When you're coming down to school or to work, or even when you go out for some errands, what you see is a lot of filth around you. And the reason why I had asked you to go into a meditative state is because while that is very centering and relaxing and brings peace to us, sights like these is what takes our peace away. It is which is disturbing, and not just mentally. I think it has a huge impact on our health, on the quality of lives we lead. Health problems lead to disruption in the family, lead to disruption in our ambitions, in our desire and what we want to do, and how we connect with the world around us. But while we are talking about all these disruptions, there is one of them, the biggest cause is, of course, the big black bag that goes out of our homes. And when you were at that, I'll keep taking your attention to the meditative state. When you are in that meditative state, and if you even observe and you think about that blade of grass, or that one tree which is quietly fruiting and flowering, and giving to the ecosystem in a very quiet manner. It is there, it is giving, it is receiving, but with balance. But what happens in our daily lives is what we are giving out is a bag full of mixed waste. Now let's look at the composition. 60% of that bag is organic waste. Most of you are scientists, PhD students, you're almost scientists, so you know a lot, and I don't need to give you the details of what organics means. 35% of that is that which can be recycled. 5% is reject waste. So clearly, if in our systems we have a way to put our organic waste in the green bin, reusable waste in a reusable bin, and the red bin for, say, sanitary waste and diaper waste and medical waste that is being generated from our homes or our hostels or our university, I think that is a system which could be put into place. So while I'm saying all this, I'm very happy to see somebody with a notebook. It would be nice even if you can make mental notes, actionable points, things you want to do. So the feeling for a speaker is not to just leave having hogged all your attention for 30 minutes, but also to leave with a feeling that maybe there was somebody who got some takeaway, actionable points, practical things which you can do in your life to ensure that the quality of your life is a little better. Now, when that 60% of that bag which we throw out, what is it in that bag? It's just, you know, kitchen food shavings and waste that we've just actually mindlessly throwing out. But if you start observing and you look at the soil, just look at the soil in your parks, look at the soil in your garden, look at the soil in the 2 pots that you have in your balcony or in your room or somewhere in your hostel, you'll see that the quality of our soil is extremely degraded. And I don't need to explain to you what degraded means. It means it is completely deprived of any organic matter, any humus, any microorganisms, anything that brings it to life. And what is soil which has no life? What kind of food is it going to give us? What kind of people are we going to be who are going to consume that food which is coming out of degraded soils? So the problem is not for you as a homemaker to solve and just fix the soil which is in your pot, but I think it has to be taken on as a national agenda to fix the soil of this country and ensure that we are not using so many harmful pesticides and chemicals which are adversely affecting the next generation and the children who are being born, the mothers who are giving birth to these children. Young generation, look at the number of allergies. You yourself might know how many doctor trips that you have made in the past 6 months. And with winter coming, there will be renewed allergies and renewed problems, respiratory issues. So what can we do with that 60%? So very simply put, there are 5 requirements that you need to ensure that you can manage that 60% waste. You need a container. You need air circulation. It has to be an aerobic process. You need the greens, which is the kitchen waste, essentially. The browns, which are the nitrogen-rich dry leaves, cocoa peat or sawdust. And then, of course, the composting microorganisms, because the soil naturally doesn't have the microorganisms. You have to introduce something which will ensure that the microorganisms thrive in the organic material that you have. And of course, a suitable place for the composter to be protected from rain. I believe your university has already made an effort into starting something about composting. Maybe you should all partner and look at what's happening and ensure that you take it to the next level. So the brown and the green stuff, visually, this is the dry leaves, the cocoa peat, and the microorganisms that will be generated and will be, introduced in the soil once the organic matter is there. The sawdust, which is again the browns, the kitchen waste, which is the greens, and at the bottom right, you see the accelerator, which is either in the form of a powder, even old buttermilk works like an accelerator, and panchagavya is also, traditionally in the villages, they used to make panchagavya. Has anybody heard of panchagavya? Panchagavyam is a word I think you should put down and note. And microorganisms. Is there anybody who has ever done composting, has been exposed to composting in this room? Could you please put your hand up if you have? I see. So I would maybe go in a little bit of more detail, and I would urge you all, there are numerous videos on YouTube on composting. Do have a look. And I'm sure somewhere you will have a connect. There's something very, very beautiful about composting. Going into a little more detail, I'm going to go a little slow because nobody has been introduced to composting, is that what happens when you've got your greens and you've got your browns? So what do you want to do? Do you want to just throw everything all together into the bin? No, you don't want to do that. Because the moment, where is it that when you pass mounds of waste in the city, you see a certain stench coming. Absolutely no aerobic movement in the your bin has to have leaves so that whatever liquid is discharged, it can be soaked by the brown leaves. Then is the wet waste, which is the one which has moisture. It is going to release moisture as it breaks down. And then you layer it again with brown matter, then green matter. And as you do this, you keep sprinkling the micro powder. Micro powder will help to allow the waste to process quickly. So for every 1 kg of waste, you use 1 gram of micro powder. So you can use vegetable peels, fruit peels, used coffee and tea powder, used flowers, leftover food, non-veg waste. All this is your green waste. While the browns are, may I ask you what the browns are, please? I just said 3 of them. Sawdust. Microbes is different. Thank you so much. That's an attentive class. Then budget for composting. Do you really need to spend a lot of money in composting? No, you don't. You can do a zero cost. Supposing you have a field, you have a ground, somewhere you can just make a pit, not a very deep pit, because it's now one of the important things is to ensure that the process is aerobic. You may have to move it, rake it every 3 days after the bin is full. While it's getting full, once a week you can rake it so that it's not compacting anywhere. Once it's full, you may want to rake it every 3 days, but then leave it after 2 weeks or so because there will be heat in the pile. And you might have studied it as a science, scientific process. If you haven't, it would be nice to go into the detail. And when that heat is being released is when that organic matter is going to break down. So zero cost is converting a simple home old plastic bucket into a composter. You can drill holes, make sure you have a hole at the bottom so that the liquid can be released. You can put 2 bricks and rest it on that and have a little bowl at the bottom to take that liquid away. And then keep adding your browns and your greens. Bottommost layer has to be the browns. Thank you. So you are going to get the first prize. Then the low cost one is getting something which is not very expensive, as a simple plastic bin which you can convert. Then of course there are ones which are reasonable cost. You're getting them in the market. This is the world of online shopping. We were just discussing with Professor here how the world has been taken over by online shopping. But this, if you can't go anywhere else and you have to shop this online, you're forgiven. That will come with it. You please give it to your college dry waste collection. They send it to IPCA. So the reasonable cost one will also include micro powder, which is mixed with coco peat. You also get that. So you don't have to buy the micro powder separately. You can just use that, and and what comes out in the end, I cannot explain. So how many of you love the smell of rain? Except him. Yes, you did not raise your hand. I will talk to you separately. So everybody loves the smell of rain, don't we? Why? Why do we love the smell of rain? Yes, student of the year. Peace, a good feeling. What else? Refreshing. What else? There is a certain connect that you establish with the soil, which we don't look at soil. We don't care for it. We are walking on the ground all the time. Who looks down? Who cares about the soil? Who wants to even think about it? But what does soil do? It attracts you. It attracts your attention to itself when it rains. And you know what compost smells of? That first rain. So if you want that beautiful smell in your home and your plants, you must compost. As you can see by my animated face, how much I love it. Yes. So, well, these are different types of composters, which, depending on the need of your family or your home, is something that you could look at. 20-liter 2 baskets. You always need 2. Why? One is full. You have to let it be for a good 30 days or so, at least 1.5 months. Then you start the other one. That's why you need 2 in pairs. Now, I'm just going to quickly show you in my community what we are doing and how data is a little old, but I think now almost 3,000 tons of organic waste we have been able to process, and we generate 1.5 tons of compost every month. Now, when I say that, can you imagine what what kind of stars I see when I look at your university, the amount of manure that you people can produce. Can somebody even give me an odd figure? We are 115 acres and 1,000 homes. Can somebody do a quick math and give it to me in, say, 2 minutes while I'm talking? What kind of compost generation you can do just in your own university? Think about it. So what does it entail? It entails that you bring your community together. Now, when you're in your community, so you're not just in your home, you have to break the boundaries. Because what happens is the bag is out of my door, it's not my problem anymore. Isn't that usually the case? But why isn't it my problem? Is there a boundary wall in by which the air that I breathe inside my home or my community is more filtered, purer, nicer than the air which is outside it? Is it? Is that the case? And sometimes, you know, we see states fighting, this is your garbage, this is my garbage, you manage. But is there a division? Is there a wall between the states? So I think all of us have to, you know, come to terms with the fact that unless everybody gets activated and does something about it, and we are not limited to just our own boundaries, mentally, physically, and spiritually, that we are just bound between my, me, and I, we are not going to be able to improve the quality of our lives. It has to be a collective effort, and it has to move beyond my home. So you have to activate by, first of all, informing the waste workers, informing the people who live in your community, talking to them about it, sharing good stories, finding the feasible model that would work for your community. And why am I talking about the community? Because I think all of you are people who are capable of being champions. So if you yourself have experienced even once composting in your home, it will not be difficult for you to actually enable it in your community and actually go ahead and move it, you know, things in your city. So it's just a matter of taking that plunge and doing it. So this is how the segregation is happening. It's a very dark image for some reason. Happens, and then it is taken to those round bins. They are circular composters. They stay there for a few days while the liquid, the leachate that is generated gets a little resolved, and then we move them to the metal bins. And over 2 months, the first day when the waste is coming, it takes around 2 months for it to be fully cured and ready to be used in our parks. So these are our staff which is working on the bins and the drums. And on the bottom right, you can see the compost which is ready to be given to all the 16 parks that we have. And the result is beautiful. So I'm not just focusing on the flowers. Thank you. I will take these claps back to our staff and they will be overjoyed. But the fact is that it's not just the flowers and the fact that the soil is happy. The soil is consuming less water. It is more resistant to pests. It is more resistant to disease. It is not using any chemical fertilizers. It does not need any chemicals to fix any problems. It's a healthy soil. It's like, when everybody has a baby, they want a healthy baby. You don't want to keep spending money on the doctor, and you don't want the child to suffer. So this soil is like a suffering child, and we are not paying any attention to it. So I think it has to invoke the mother in all of us. Whether we're a man or a woman, we're capable of being parently. So we have to be parently towards the soil and look after it. And this is the potential which we don't see in that one black garbage bag that we send out, right? So I'm just taking your attention to the soil. On the right bottom is one of Vijay's sites, but that's the forest. The soil looks after itself. If you've ever been for a forest walk in Corbett or anywhere in the city, also we have now enough forest. The soil looks after itself because we are not disturbing it. We are not throwing all the sukha patta pheko, jhadu lagao, bahar pheko, jalao. So we are not doing all of that, right? But when we do that, we are disturbing the ecological balance. The leaves need to go back to the soil. It belongs to the soil. So anybody who is stealing them, making them go away, burning them, destroying them is actually doing a criminal offense. So the 35% of the dry waste here is what can be managed quite easily, like you have a collection in your, but I think even though you have a collection and you're sending it to IPCA to be processed, it's very important for all of us to be mindful. Mindful of what? How much are we consuming? Is it okay to consume so many packets of something from which the packet is just going to be a one use and throw? Is it important to use a bottle which is going to be one use and throw? Isn't it easier to just carry your own bottles? Isn't it easier to carry your homemade snack or something which is available in the canteen? So these are the shifts, small shifts in your mind. And when I bring this word mindfulness, it is something which becomes a part of your breath and the way you live and the way you feel and the way you think. So it cannot be different from you. So you will automatically learn the power of vitamin vitamin N, which is, no, I don't want this, or I'm sorry, I don't, you're going out, you can ask the person to put your drink in a ceramic cup rather than a throwaway cup. So small things. So somebody will ask me, like, why should I do this? Everybody's doing the wrong thing and the world is anyway full of litter. So if somebody is jumping over the cliff, should we all just follow that person and jump over the cliff? No, the human intellect doesn't allow us to be suicidal. We still have a life to live. We have a few years ahead of us. It's okay, forget it. We don't want to care for the next generation. It's okay, we don't want to care for the planet. That's also fine. Can we just look after our own few years that we have ahead of us and be mindful of what we are doing and what is it that we are disposing. So a lot of this goes collected and some of it is high value, some of it is low value. Am I stepping over my time limit? Okay. So look up, ensure that it's going back into, yes, no food and plastics, fast fashion, slow down, slow down. You don't have to buy if you don't need. E-waste collection can be separate. Microplastics in our food, we have to be very careful. It's in our blood. So all those single throwaway are avoidable. Actionables, don't buy things in plastics. And of course, there is sanitary ware, which can be reused, and there are menstrual cups which can be used. And that's it. I think more or less. So if I leave you with that, and even if there are a few actionables that you can look at, which are from your point, sending less out in the world. And so when all of us must go, when we lie down and, our last breath, the earth should be happy to welcome us and say, yeah, you are one of us. You weren't so mean to me. So let's look at it that way and do what we can, little bit, small things, and I'm sure you'll have the power to do bigger things, larger things, make bigger changes. All the best to all of you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your extensive experience and expertise in environmental advocacy will guide us to take action towards a sustainable future. I now take privilege to introduce our honorable chief guest, Mr. Vijay Dhasmana, the conservator of degraded landscapes and a self-taught ecologist who is working at the forefront of reviving red habitat in North India. His biggest project and achievement is the transformation of a 380 acres abandoned mining site at the edge of Gurgaon city forest called the Aravali Biodiversity Park. A big round of applause for this film. With a long journey and much longer list of his glories, I invite our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Vijay Dhasmana, to please join us.
So
Thank you very much for inviting me here. Firstly, thank you the chair here, Professor Sahab, Vice Chancellor Sahab, and all others here. I'm very sorry for being late and made you wait for so long. I hope it's worth that wait. I'm hoping that there is going to be a long-term relationship on what we can do together, yeah? Actionable, because we have had enough of theory around the world and very little action. Recently we finished one COP, and outcomes are not much desirable for what the targets that this world needs. I'll put down some points, indicators as to where we are. If I tell you that 50% of our invertebrate species are gone. This is a WWF report of 2020. 50% of our invertebrate are gone. Many we have not even identified. Similarly, all the seabirds, 50% population is in decline. Between 2007 and 2017, we have lost South Africa's size of natural forests. Okay, so these are good indicators, which is very, very broad. Now let's come home a little bit. We live in a city you would say is the powerhouse of the country. Would you say that? It is the powerhouse of the country. All power sits here. Education power too. You have universities, excellence departments, and so on and so forth. We have here. You have such bright students like you, yourself here in the city, right? We have many, we have a meteorological department and many other agencies, authorities which are responsible for this country here in Delhi. Our air is polluted in Delhi, amongst the worst airs in the world, right? Our water, I don't think you can drink from the tap. Can you? No? Okay. Can you trust the food that you eat? Can you really trust the food that you're eating is really good, healthy, and is nourishing you? No. I mean, it's such a dire situation. Most educated, most powerful people sit in a place which is most polluted in all kinds. You see the paradox? You see the paradox? I mean, it should not happen, no? If you think that people are educated, they should behave in a certain way. Now, Monica has given us so much to chew on. Yeah? But look at the paradox. So where are we missing? What is the problem? All the people who study, do their PhDs or masters, then do policy studies from international universities, come here, become consultants to UNDP, UNEP, Government of India, and so on and so forth. Yeah? Yet we sit in the most polluted environments of the world. I mean, must be something really great missing. I'm still pondering on it. So these are some points that I wanted to leave you. I started my journey way in middle of 90s, trying to understand what is this and what is my role in all this. You know, always wanted somebody to point to you and say that this is what you need to do, go ahead and chase it. But this never came to me. That you should do this as a young person, this is what you need to do, and the world will change for better. I am today, after more than 25 years, I think I was more hopeful then than I am today. We had Asia Social Forum, we had World Social Forums, and we are talking about many things which was questioning and which was looking at debates and finding answers. Today, having done some transformation, I still see no hope, or very little hope. So I took a journey for myself that after fighting against environmental degradation, I realized I need to put in creative energy. I need to put in positive energy, at least to my life, and whatever I can do in my own domain. And that's where I started the work of conservation, work towards species conservation, and then later habitat conservation. And today what the work I do is called eco-restoration. It has been recognized now by the United Nations. This decade has been dedicated for United Nations commitment to ecological restoration. Now, when we say ecological restoration, what do we mean? I'm told that you are masters and PhD scholars, right? So what is eco-restoration, ecological restoration? Preservation of biodiversity, right? So preservation is what is, you protect it, right? Restore. So restoring biodiversity, we can add that. Restore is about, there is another word which is called rewilding, whereas a landscape may have been denuded or destroyed by the effort of people, be it mining, be it hydro project, be it, contamination of the land in any form. Here you try to restore the habitats or the land form to what it would have been. If it was a grassland, you try to recreate the grasslands. If it was a mangrove, you try to recreate those mangroves. India has committed and has been successful in if you have heard of this word 30-30-30, have you? Bond Challenge. Bond Challenge. India has pledged for Bond Challenge, where, like many other countries, they have said 30% of their land will be forest. Yeah. Now, 30% of your land in this country, total land that is in forest or registered as forest, modified as forest, is only 21%. Of which a lot is degraded. So your Forest Survey of India, it does pick up satellite data and then a little bit of ground truthing, and you come up with the statistics. We have 21% of forests. And India has been boasting that in international forums that we have gone from 17% to 21%, which also includes tree outside of forest. Now, the bigger challenge is how do you move from 21 to 30? That's a huge one. Agriculture has been positioned as one of the single most agency that has destroyed natural biodiversity. I mean, it's, again, you can have questions about it. Yeah. Pesticides, chemical fertilizers, salinity of soil, irrigation, excessive irrigation, plus taking over of wild habitats. Today, if you look at Indonesia or in India, northeast of India, all the forests are now going to be replaced by plantation. So in Indonesia, last of the orangutan habitats. Yeah, I mean, you should look at the visuals of Indonesian forests. Amazing. I mean, canopies are just closed. You can walk on those canopies. And that's what orangutans do. They are canopy dwellers. And when you do palm cultivation, you need to have spaced out canopies. And it is Malaysia, and it's going to be in India too, where we have Huller gibbons. So what I'm trying to say is that agriculture has been detrimental. And it is always pitched human against wildlife. Yeah, I have been working in Jaipur for many, many years, in Rajasthan for many years. I have been driving from Delhi to Jaipur for maybe more than a decade. The amount of insect-eating birds that you used to see has diminished considerably. You don't see the Indian rollers, the black-shouldered kites, all the harriers, or even the buzzards on the skyline anymore, because the agriculture does not invite insects anymore. And these are all insect-eating birds. So we are losing all of them, and we have no record of it. There is no census of, I mean, forget about birds. We don't have census of leopards. So it's a very grave situation. We need to work towards, we have to shake each one of us, including the policy and administration. And that's our role. We are part of the administration now, right? So we build the society, and therefore we take responsibility. And that's the effort I have been taking in last maybe 15 years. This is a small slideshow. I'm going to go pretty fast. Next, this is Aravali Biodiversity Park. It was mined for quartzitic rocks, Badarpur quartzite sand, and mica on the border of Delhi towards Gurgaon, in Gurgaon district. It was a village, common land called Nathapur village, and we had 8 stone crushers on it. Yeah, so this is the park landscape. If you look, it's one side is city, and then there is a ridge. The central line where you see a pathway, that's a ridge, and it's all rocky. These are the stone crushers, 8 stone crushers. If you're interested in geology, you will look at, and you must be interested in geology. You have to be interested in all sciences. If you're interested in environment, you can look. Ziziphus nummullaria, which is something that we all eat. Caparis ciparia, it's a climber that is a very hardy species, and Flugia leucopyrus, which is again an important shrub. I don't know if I covered the trees. Sorry. So you can't go back, no? How do you go back? Okay. So some of the grasses that we found, if you are interested, I can talk about grasses. This is Sariska on the left, and this is right, is outskirts of Sariska. These are oldest fold mountain systems in the world. They should have a tag of geological heritage. And there is an effort to make them into geological sites, but it will take some time. There are several districts, about 25 of them, which have Aravlis in them. And this is Sariska. If you look on the top, that's quartzite sitting on older sandstone. And on the extreme right bottom, you will find the craton, the plate, Indian plate, the banded gneissic complex, the gneiss granite when it's metamorphosed. This was the reference. From that landscape, if you Anogeisys pendula forest, an endemic to the Aravlis, a species which is endemic to Aravlis. If you look at the ecology of this plant, you will find it that it's in the jungle. You will find up to 90%, 90 to 95%. You'll find this plant. In a dry season, along the valleys, there will be other species, but on the slopes, you can clearly identify that. Then another climax forest is the Boswellia serrata forest. You understand climax forest, or should I go into that? Maybe some other day. But this is Boswellia serrata, 10 kilometers from aerial distance from here, not very far in Faridabad district. Yeah, it's protected because it's a sacred grove, and though the land has been sold, all of this land is sold, and it's only because of the sacredness that people are protecting it. This is Jhalana, the Boswellia forest of Jhalana in Jaipur. Jhalana leopard safari, if you have heard of. So this is Boswellia. In the valleys, you will find mix of different kind of species, mainly Butea monosperma, the flame of the forest, Palash. And in the Aravallis, on the southern western side, there is piling up of sand. And there the plant community is very different. Yeah, mostly xerophytic. And you can, from here onwards to the Thar region, you'll find a similarity in vegetation. Now, vision for any eco-restoration, there has to be a vision. I can go on into the international direction where people are taking eco-restoration, but our groundwater columns are depleting very fast. I think the rate is about 5 feet per year. That's the rate. So I worked with an NGO called I Am Gurgaon, a fantastic organization, and we rolled out this poster. We are reviving a forest. It needed a lot of education of the NGO and the administration to convince them that it should not be a conventional park, but a forest in making. And after we were successful, we rolled out this endeavor. And we created a nursery, we grew native plants. All this is not rocket science. This is very basic, very fundamental. And as you know, science is fundamental. Yeah, observation, noting down, and then reflecting on it. So this is basically creating a nursery. You don't get these seeds. You have to go out into the jungle and identify the right specimen, get the seeds, and then grow them. Unfortunately, India has a very good history of forestry, but mainly silviculture forestry, which is a good bowl that has a commercial value, not about forest trees, which are otherwise found in the different ecosystems. So we don't have literature on growing these plants. So we had to do very fundamental work. And we grew many, many species. We had a massive drive of seed collection across the years, failed in many times to procure the seeds, and got successful with many. That's a Lania coromandelica. If you know, it's a very important species of the Aravallis, actually peninsular India. Then we designed the place, it should resemble the forest that we were trying to imitate. And the NGO did a fabulous job of getting the city together in restoring it. Yeah. So children, to individuals, to corporates, they all participated in planting out the forest. And in the process, we educated them. Yeah. And today it has become I'm just showing you before after slides for you to see. The land was mainly, if you know of Prosopis juliflora, have you heard of Prosopis juliflora? No? I think it's one of the biggest alien invasive species in India today. Yeah? So that's all the vegetation that you're seeing is Prosopis juliflora, and that needs to be restored. So this is in 2016, same plant, and this is 2020, and Prosopis has been replaced by Anabasis pendula, and in the valleys, Mitragyna parvifolia. This is a mined site. You can see a mined valley, and with few Prosopis clumps, and this is in 2020. This is another hill, that has been cut for mining, and this is again Prosopis and some shrubs. Here, this is in 2020. Another one. So in 2022, on 4th of Feb, it was declared as the first OECM site in the country by the Environment Minister. OECM, again, I'm trying to link it back to that 9%. OECM is a land that has biodiversity in it. Ownership can be of anybody. It can be a corporate, it can be an individual, it can be community land. It can be given a tag of OECM, other area-based conservation measures under IUCN. So this place has become a hotspot. We have 200 plus species of birds in this place. I mean, recorded over many years. We have all the 9 species of amphibians found in Delhi NCR in this place. We have nilgai to jackals to porcupine, civets, jackals, many snakes. All the big 4 are also present there, from cobra to kraits to this is I'll skip that. These are some of the plants, rare, endangered, disappeared from Delhi NCR that we have brought back. And that's our amphitheater. You can see the forest now developing. What gives me assurance, we are still learning. If you bring in a climax forest to a restored site, will the climax forest regenerate a climax forest? That's a challenge for us, and we are trying to understand that. We have 10 plots in this. We are trying to understand what species is taking over in time, and hopefully this can become a model for all the degraded Aravallis that we have in the northern part. So that's the germination of Boswellia. And it has become an educational space. We have many scholars who have come here doing acoustics, forest acoustic studies. Some are doing medicinal plant studies, ethnobotany studies, amphibian studies, and so on and so forth. We also get the city people to engage with the place, with nature walks, with photography and volunteering in the nursery. Some of the landscape pictures. Then there was a road that was planned by the NHAI. So people became the stakeholder of this place, and they came and protested against the road, and the road was moved out. And today we have these decks, and this is a small video. If you can play, I don't know if you can play, or is it linked? No, it's okay. So that's the OECM site. And we are hoping that this place will be integrated with the city, and the city will appreciate it. We're doing another site from which we have already removed 500 trucks of plastic. 500 trucks of plastics. Yeah? So we use our jungles to dump. So there is a huge potential to undo that. And with crisis brings the opportunity. The world is in crisis, so is there an opportunity. So definitely each one of you are welcome in this journey of restoration. And thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your words and work ignited our passion for environmental stewardship and undoubtedly encouraged us to embrace sustainable practices in our daily lives. Next, it is an honor to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir Professor M. Abshar Alam, to deliver his presidential remarks.
Thank you very much. Today's chief guest, Mr. Vijay Dasmala, and the eminent speaker of the day, Monica Gulati. See, generally we do World Environment Day on 5th June, but due to my other engagements, our director requested me to have to be present. So today we are celebrating on 12th June, but it was basically a 5th June, and Jamia Hamdard is very committed to environment. You see our campus, we have more than 7,000 trees, which we have already numbered, all the trees, and more than 80 type of species birds are available in the campus. And we had very good environment, the Eco Club for students headed by a teacher, and then there is an environmental cell, so we upgrade that Center for Environment and Sustainable Development so that we can upgrade this center as one of the best interdisciplinary center, because now the new education policy insists us to start more program for the integration and interdiscipline in nature. So we have a very good, vibrant environmental botany program where professors are available here. Then we have a very good center for biotechnology and computers and all. So we can do, and recently we have started virology and other biomedical program. But the objective is that how we have to start our campus as a more environmental friendly. So we did lot of changes within last 2 years. We have all our electricity based on solar. So last month we have earned more than 7-8 lakhs rupees. We have sold our electricity to BSEB. So that is, so objective is not for economy, but we have to say how we can use our, the campus should be more sustainable in nature. We have signed one MOU with IIPA. For that, Madam has already mentioned about the uses of waste, composite waste and all. So how much composite we are earning per day? 50 kg, no? 50 kg per day we are. And we have also, Madam has mentioned about a dry leaf. So even in my house, we are using dry leaf and not using any kind of fertilizer or that we use as a biofertilizer. So I have seen even in my house that the fruits and all, they are coming up in a, more organic, and the production is 10 times more. So these things we are doing in the campus. As 2 experts came today and they have delivered their experience, what they are doing, really it's a commendable. Because once upon a time I was coming from Mumbai, the flight was very low in Aravali. So I was scared to see the Aravali area where everywhere these last 40 years, all politicians are dig the Aravali near Faridabad up to Gurgaon and Nuh. So whole Aravali is now became the mining mafia is doing for sand as well as mica. So nowadays, really for last 4-5 years, their regenerations are going on. That is really a very good sign. But government always committed. Government of India signed the 2030 Sustainable Development Goal. If India achieve all 17 goals, definitely India became a developed country, not even in the race of developing country, but even in human index, we are always after 90. So what my idea that every single citizen should be conscious towards environment. Otherwise, government made policy because India has to sign with many accord, but in field, same politician, those who are making law in parliament are mining mafia. Whether you go to Chhattisgarh or Jharkhand or even in Haryana, all the politicians, they are mining mafia. Even Bellary is famous, Reddy brothers, you have seen. So one time they are making law and one time they are breaking law. So there is a lot of conflict, that's why environment, India faced too much problem. If you feel before 1947, our forest is more than 30%. But now whole city and all, they became, what we say that the concrete jungles. So definitely we thank to Supreme Court that at least they woke up after 1985 and Delhi made some kind of reserve forest area and all that. Although we are facing lot of, pollution problems. The pollution, even if you just go outside your more than 150 PMT, the time you enter to campus, your 50 or 55 PMT you'll find in our campus because we have more tree and all. So these are the challenges where we have to fight with the government also. Even I always say that don't vote that political party, those who are not respecting the nature. But if you see the data, every political party involved in that, whether it is a Congress or a BJP or whatever party, because the money play a very important role. The economics is, because mining mafia, they have money and they can, a lot of things are challenging even in your society. So every citizen should feel that the environment is. I'm just giving one example of Okhla, where I have a data that more people who lived in Okhla region, they are taking more antibiotic. Why? आप बताइए कौन लोग ये बता सकते हैं कि वो एंटीबायोटिक क्यों ज्यादा खाते हैं जो ओखला में रहते हैं? नो, बिकॉज जो गोश्त खाते हैं ना, फोलिया फेंक के घर से फेंक देते हैं. उससे क्या होता है, वो सोचते हैं मेरा घर तो साफ हो गया, लेकिन दैट वो कंटेमिनेशन स्टार्ट करता है और वो रिस्पिरेटरी में आप ही को इफेक्ट करता है. तो रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ वहां पे जो प्लान आप देखे होंगे, अब काफी लोग धीरे धीरे समझ रहे हैं, तो उनमें चेंजेस आ रहा है. बट दिस इज रिसेंटली देयर इज अ वर्ल्ड रिपोर्ट, द एग्जांपल ऑफ one company, they are making the Dettol soap. They started one study for Pakistan, and mandatory Dettol soap is they have to use it. 35% of antibiotic resistance increase in Pakistan. So no need for antibiotic used in that area, because you have to be clean. So cleanliness is very important aspect for environment. And people are thinking what the madam says, that this is my area, this is my area, and they are not respecting after outside their home. But same thing will come back as a respiratory disorder and all. So Delhi is facing huge problem of COPD problem. Why? Why Delhi? Those who lived in Delhi and those who lived in a village, their lifetime span is 5 years less in Delhi. Maybe medical reason, you can take medicine and all, you can survive, but healthy lifestyle because of pollution. So if every Delhi people feel and they make a plan, we will use one day, because many countries I've seen outside India, they are using even odd cars. Even Tehran facing too much of pollution problem, they started, no, we will use 1357 one day and 2468. So their pollution has control. So you have to, you can't base and blame to government, because government always sign a signatory, make a bill, everything is there. So India's environmental law, protection law, everything is very diversity. They are coming up, huge money they are giving for to create diversity park and all. But it is the citizen or a society who play a very important role to maintain your environment, because everything will come back to you. If you will not respect environment, finally you will face the problem. If he has developed a very good Aravali, if you can say that those area, the habitats, you can take a data. What is their feeling before and after making that diversity park? For example, Sanjay One is one of the example where they have developed wonderful diversity park in Delhi. So my only thing, advice to every citizen, every student, because you are a young people or you are a future of country, and you have to go for longer way than us. So feel and do practice for, see, many people, they are not taking interest for going for any, if you start some campaign, nobody will come. They said, this is not my job. That is wrong. Every citizen should come up. They should join for whether you have to tree plantation or environmental. So I will request both the expert to come for some brainstorming session where we can sit and discuss and how we can at least put some example in the campus. So we try our level best to transform our campus. If I joined 2 years before, and after 2 years, I've seen a lot of changes are there. Even in my hole where I'm staying, there's 30 kind of birds are coming every day morning. So this is my habit now to go and see, and we'll put some, food and grains also to them. So we feel that now, because because of less biodiversity, you are facing a lot of problems. See, India became and there is a challenge also that food production is very important for us because our population is cross 150. That is also a bigger challenge. Everybody have to take food also. So there is a lot of, challenges that Punjab and Haryana, they are using too much pesticides and all. So if you see Bhatinda district in Punjab, because of excess using of pesticide, that place called a cancer place. I'm right or wrong? Because, and there is a place from Kasargod in Kerala, and two central university came up there and they approached me to apply. I'm not interested to apply Kasargod or Bhatinda because there is a cancer district. Because whole water is now a cancerous water. So every, farmer, we can't blame. We always said India has green revolution, these and that. But the effect of green revolution also killed many people. And nowadays, people die for terrorism is very less. People die through climate change is 10 times higher than the terror attack and all, because we are not respecting our environment. So every citizen should feel that at least those who are living in a flat, they can put some gamla in their house. आपका stress भी remove होगा, आप plant भी लगाएंगे और आप उसके सब्जी भी खाएंगे. और जैसे coconut peat है, in 2007-8 I visited to Taiwan, and Taiwan people, they are using tomato by using coconut peat, and their production is very high. So even that, a lot of people, I am suggesting to my student, where is Javed? Javed is there. So we have a eco innovation center. I told that Kalka Ji Mandir is there. A lot of, coconut. You bring them and make a kit and send it to nurseries, and you will earn money. Because when I was student, that time in Jharkhand, now earlier it was a Bihar, but part of Jharkhand, where our school gives that in summer school you became make lifafa. You know what in Jharkhand we call as thonga or something, lifafa, and they are giving all papers, and those students will bring more lifafa, they will give more awards. So why? Because that the recycling of the newspaper, and the school send it to the shopkeepers, because उस वक्त पॉलिथीन का कल्चर नहीं था, तो उससे भी आपका रिसाइकिल है. तो रिसाइकलिंग भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. व्हाट मैडम हैज सजेस्टेड about how you have to maintain your city, and Gurugram is doing well. Even nowadays, even all the MCDs and all, even Delhi government have started this Badarpur, जो आपका एक कूड़ा का था, वहाँ पे आप रिसाइकलिंग एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं वो लोग. दे हैव स्टार्टेड. सो उससे भी आपका बाई प्रोडक्ट जो है वो बहुत अच्छा खाद बनेगा. तो ये चीज जापान में भी है, हर जगह है, लेकिन इंडिया धीरे धीरे कर रहा है. बिकॉज इंडिया के लोगों के साथ प्रॉब्लम है कि वो अपने घर पे तो कूड़ा आने नहीं देते, लेकिन मोहल्ले में कूड़ा बहुत रहता है, और वो उसको एंटीबायोटिक के लिए दावत देता है, उनको फिर एंटीबायोटिक बहुत ज्यादा लेना पड़ता है. ये बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस हैं. इसीलिए ऑलवेज आई एम सेइंग दैट एवरी सिटीजन शुड बिकम द वॉरियर इन दिस फील्ड. देन यू कैन क्रिएट एनवायरनमेंट वेयर, अगर आप दिल्ली में बहुत ज्यादा डिसिप्लिन करेंगे, गाड़ियां रोक, अगर कोई एक ही जगह काम कर रहा है, एक ही गाड़ी में है, तो ईगो को खत्म करके शेयरिंग कर लें, तो उससे जो आप बच सकते हैं वो बहुत आपको फायदा देगा. तो आई एम नॉट टेकिंग, बिकॉज इट्स ए area where you have lot of discussions. So the carbon emission is the biggest challenge in Delhi. Then government have started, for example, in Tamil Nadu, Goa and all, government started that wind energy, but still coal. Again, government has issued an order, if you take Indonesian coal or a Australian coal, every company has to buy at least 10% of coal from outside. There is a political, gimmick inside to support government for some of the owners of, maybe I'm not putting any name. But there is a lot of challenges for making policy. One time you are making policy for, last to last government, they have started that coal issue and it became a big issue and government lost the election. But finally that coal block has not allotted to anybody. So there's a lot of issues. So every citizen should be cautious how we have to save environment. Not only biodiversity, there's a carbon problem. Even, a lot of, because I'm from IT field, the computer field, lot of, data centers they are making in Siberia. Why? Because of low use of air condition. Because air condition also create too much of, carbon emission is high. So a lot of issues are there in Environmental Day. And I'm thankful to Mr. Vijay and Monica, who spent time here and delivered his experience. Again, thank you to our center. And I want that center should more actively do a lot of diplomacy in this area as well as do some kind of research also. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for inspiring us to integrate the environmental consciousness into our lives, education, and beyond. Now is the time for expressing the gratitude with a vote of thanks. So I request Dr. Sapna Jain ma'am to please deliver the vote.
Every breath we draw is a gift of God's love. Every moment of existence is His grace. So now it's the time to thank our God with heart and hands and voices, who wondrous thing hath done, in whom His world rejoices. So let us thank Almighty through a short poem titled, We Are So Thankful. We are so thankful for God's goodness, so blessed to know His loving kindness. Grateful and glad, He is always forgiving, as with Him we travel in the land of living. We are so thankful for God's mercy and grace, so grateful He gives us strength for the race. Confident and sure, we have nothing to fear, for God goes with us and is always near. We are so thankful for God's goodness. We are so grateful for His faithfulness. We are so thankful for God's greatness. We are so thankful. Thank you, God, for everything. I, Dr. Sapna Jain, member CEST, feel privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion. On the behalf of CEST team, I express gratitude to Janab Ahmad Ahmed Sahib, Honorable Chancellor, Zamia Hamdard, Professor Dr. M. Afshar Alam, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Zamia Hamdard, for always guiding us in the right direction and for knowing what is best for us more than we do. I express thankfulness to respected SS Akhtar, Registrar Zamia Hamdard, for all the support rendered to organize today's event. It is an honor for me to propose a vote of thanks to the Chief Guest of the Day, Mr. Vijay Dhasmana, Rewildler and Eco-Restoration Practitioner. Sir, for your mesmerizing talk and presentation on how Rewilding focuses on the ecology of the region and is mindful of the interrelationships in nature, how plants, insects, birds, and animals interact with each other and their role to build a self-sustaining society, and in the restoration of the habitat. Ms. Monica K. Gulati, founder living a minimalistic lifestyle and which helps to cultivate rich biodiversity, waste minimization techniques, soil conservation techniques, composting initiatives. We are very grateful for the guest speakers for their gracious presence despite of their extremely busy schedules. I express gratitude to Professor M.Z. Abdeen, Director, Center for Environment and Sustainable Development, for his guidance and support throughout the conduction of today's event. And thank you, sir. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling months in advance. We have been fortunate enough to back by the team of very motivated and dedicated coordinators. Dr. Monica Safi from School of Chemical and Life Sciences, Dr. Javed Ahmed
from School of Engineering, Sciences and Technology, Dr. M. Iqbal R. Khan from School of Chemical and Life Sciences, for their involvement and willingness to take on the completion of the task beyond their comfort zone to make today's event successful. I thank the Hamdard Convention staff, Computer Center team, which includes Mr. Mirza Rahil Beg, Mr. N. Ahmed, Mr. Nizam, Scholar House staff for providing all the support for the conduction of the program. And finally, I express the gratitude to all the research scholars, distinguished professors, faculty members for their patience listening, enthusiastic participation, for finally making this today's event a memorable one. Waste management is an integral part, and I would like to bring to notice our esteemed guest that Jamia Hamdard has established Eco Club and Waste Management Committee, which extensively work on green initiatives, management of plastic waste, e-waste, and organic waste. So I am the president of Eco Club, and Dr. M. Iqbal R. Khan, convener, Waste Management Committee, are pleased to inform that we participated in the Young Leaders Plastic Tide Turners Challenge held on World Environment Day. Solution to plastic pollution, organized by Government of India, Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change in collaboration with United Nations Environment Program and its education partners, Center for Environment Education and Worldwide Fund for Nature. And Jamia Hamdard was awarded second position out of 194 participating institutions on 9th June, coming on the Friday. So at the Delhi State Tide Turners Plastic Challenge Summit 2023. So I invite Sir to present the trophy to the head of the institution, as the organizers have requested us to declare the campus as plastic-free campus, and it should be there in his group. So one more award has been kept in his sir's office for the management of plastic waste that we are doing for the organic waste management. In that, Jamia Hamdard has participated, and we won the prize there also. So it is there in sir's office. So definitely Jamia Hamdard is constantly following our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir vision to ensure that environment conservation is always everyone's, not a choice, it is a requirement. So I feel very motivated, and I sum up with these two lines that are coming in my mind. पर्यावरण रक्षा के लिए करो संघर्ष, इसके कार्यों द्वारा पाओ जीवन में नया उत्कर्ष. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your acknowledgement will highlight the efforts and contributions of all the individuals who have made this event possible. Now, let us stand united as we conclude the formal proceedings with the playing of our national anthem. Thank you.
ये गाड़ी में रखवा दो।
Finally, I invite all of you to partake in a delightful high tea in the lobby area.
तो ये सर की गाड़ी, ठीक है। ये भी पौधे जो है ना, सर की गाड़ी है।